Fear kills success. It does not arrive with a loud roar, it arrives quietly, slowly, silently, like a whisper in your mind telling you, not today, maybe tomorrow. And every time you listen to that whisper, every time you obey it, every time you choose safety over effort, comfort over courage, fear tightens its grip around your dreams. The story begins in a small room with a single light flickering above a young person sitting alone on the edge of a bed. Their hands are shaking, their heart is anxious, and they are staring at the ceiling wondering why life isn't moving forward. They have dreams, big dreams, dreams that pull them awake at night. But every morning, fear meets them at the door. Fear says, "What if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not good enough?" And in that moment, the fire inside them becomes smoke. The desire to try becomes the desire to avoid. The world outside keeps moving, but they stay stuck in the same place, trapped inside invisible walls built by their own mind. The next scene shifts to a crowded street, where thousands of people are rushing to work, to school, to their responsibilities. Everyone is walking with purpose, but inside them are battles no one talks about. Fear of rejection, fear of mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of not being perfect. You can see it in their eyes, in their rushing, in their hesitations. The world is full of talented, brilliant, capable people who never rise because fear convinces them to stay small. On another side of the city, at a school ground, a teacher watches a young boy who has the potential to become great, fast, strong, smart. But every time the whistle blows for a race, he steps back. Not because he can't win, but because he's afraid of losing. He has convinced himself that it's better not to try than to try and fail. But life does not reward potential. Life rewards courage. Life rewards action. Life rewards the one who dares. The next scene takes place in an office. A man sits at his desk staring at a resignation letter he wrote months ago, but never submitted. He dreams of building his own business, his own future, his own identity. But every time he picks up the letter, fear pulls his hand back. Fear paints the worst-case scenario in his mind. What if you lose everything? What if no one believes in you? What if you are not capable? And so he stays day after day, year after year, trapped in a routine he hates because fear convinced him that it is safer to live in misery than to take a step toward freedom. The next scene shows an elderly person sitting by the window of their home, watching children play outside. They look at the sky, and you can see the regret in their eyes. They are remembering all the chances they didn't take, all the dreams they abandoned, all the ideas they buried. Not because they weren't ready, not because they weren't capable, but because fear defeated them before life even had the chance to test them. Fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Failure may hurt for a moment, but fear kills forever. The scene changes once again, this time to a dark room where the same young person from earlier finally stands up. They look into the mirror and see someone who has been hiding for years. Not because they were weak, but because they believed fear's lies. They take a deep breath and whisper to themselves, "What if I try? What if I change? What if I stop letting fear decide my future?" And that single thought becomes the beginning of transformation. Success does not begin with opportunity. Success begins with courage. It begins with a decision to step into uncertainty, to walk into discomfort, to choose growth over fear. The world does not belong to the talented or the lucky. The world belongs to the brave. The next scene shifts to a gym where a man lifts weights with trembling arms. He is sweating, struggling, failing rep after rep, but he keeps trying. He could have stayed home. He could have accepted weakness. He could have said, "I can't." But instead he said, "I will try." And that is the difference between those who succeed and those who don't. Success is not about perfection. Success is about persistence in the presence of fear. Fear will always try to stop you, but courage does not mean the absence of fear, it means doing it anyway. Then the scene moves to a young woman preparing for her first presentation. Her hands are shaking, her voice trembles, her mind races with doubts, but she steps into the room anyway. She speaks anyway, she tries anyway. And when she finishes, she realizes something powerful. Fear was lying. It told her she would embarrass herself, but she didn't. It told her she would fail, but she didn't. It told her she wasn't enough, but she was. This moment becomes the seed of her confidence. When you face fear once, it weakens. When you face fear twice, it shrinks. When you face fear every day, it disappears. Next scene. A construction worker climbs a tall building, step by step, despite the wind, despite the height, despite the risk. Why? Because he knows something most people forget: nothing great is built on ground level. Every dream requires elevation. Every success requires climbing. Every achievement requires rising, and rising always requires risk. If you want to reach the top, you must be willing to leave the ground. The scene transitions to a classroom where a student looks at a report card filled with average marks. Not because he is average, but because fear prevented him from raising his hand, asking questions, or trying harder. But this time he decides to fight back. He chooses to challenge his fear of being wrong, his fear of looking stupid, his fear of making mistakes. And the moment he begins trying, his life begins changing. The next scene returns to the elderly person by the window. They look at the young generation and whisper a message only experience can teach. Don't wait. Don't postpone. Don't freeze. Don't let fear steal your life the way it stole mine. Fear kills dreams, kills ideas, kills ambition, kills passion, kills possibilities. It kills silently, slowly, without mercy. But you can kill fear with action, with discipline, with one courageous step every single day. The scene cuts to a montage: someone waking up early, someone studying late at night, someone practicing again and again, someone failing but standing back up, someone starting a business from a small room, someone running even when tired, someone believing in themselves even when the world doesn't. This montage shows a truth the world often forgets. Fear loses power when you move. Fear thrives in hesitation. Fear grows in silence. Fear becomes stronger when you do nothing, but fear dies the moment you try. Then comes the final scene. You stand at the edge of your future, and fear stands beside you. It whispers again, "What if you fail?" But this time you answer it. You look fear dead in the eyes and say, "What if I succeed? What if this works? What if this becomes the turning point of my life? What if I become the one who rises?" Fear pauses. Fear steps back. Fear weakens. And in that moment, you take the first step, your choice, your beginning. The world may doubt you. People may laugh at you. Circumstances may push you. But nothing can stop a person who refuses to be controlled by fear. Success belongs to the one who shows up, to the one who tries, to the one who dares, to the one who says, "Fear may come, but it will not lead." Fear kills success, but courage builds it. And today, right now, in this moment, you choose courage, you choose effort, you choose growth, you choose yourself, you choose your future. And that is the moment everything begins to change. And as you move forward, you begin to realize something extraordinary. Every step you take makes fear smaller. Every action you take makes confidence stronger. Every risk you take builds a version of you that your past self could never imagine. You start seeing doors that were always there but hidden behind doubt. You start meeting opportunities that were waiting for you to show courage. You start becoming the person you always wished to be. Fear tried to stop you, but it failed. Because the moment you chose to move, your entire life began to rise with you.